Check that out, finally. New Zealand has a good-looking, high-performance, sleek station wagon that runs on batteries. That is the Audi S6 Avant. Let's go for a drive. Yes, I am very fortunate to have got my hands on this, the only example of this Audi S6 Avant. Now you probably haven't noticed, thanks to our slick editing, that this is actually a left-hand drive. Yeah, this is what it actually looks like. Sorry, yep, I lied to you, I defrauded you and bamboozled you. The truth is, this is a left-hand drive car that has been just imported from Germany a couple of weeks ago, and I've got to say, it's a bit weird because, like, you've probably driven left-hand drive cars before, right, if you're watching this? Right, if you do that in America or Europe, it all makes perfect sense. Everything's backwards, but to drive this where only half the controls are backwards, like it's left-hand drive, but I'm in a right-hand drive country, it is doing my head, and I'm not gonna lie. I have actually promised to Audi that no, I would do my best not to crash this thing, not like I did with the Volvo EX90. Oh, not again, not again. Yep, quite a few times. But still, that was Sweden. This is New Zealand. Different kettle of fish. Prices have been announced, but they're unofficial. So the prices you see on the screen for the 3 different models you can buy, they may change by a few dollars, either up or down, by the time this thing comes to market. So stay tuned. I had sort of a guess what the price was going to be before I learned the prices this morning, and I suspected it was going to cost somewhere between 150 and 200 grand for the cars, because German cars, the longer the name, the more they cost. And I worked out that on average, German cars cost about 20 grand New Zealand per syllable. Audi S6 Avant e-tron, 8 times, okay, that's it. Yep, about 160 grand, I reckon. My maths wasn't actually too far off. I'm kind of proud of that. Got a new naming system. As for performance, this thing has 2 electric motors. This is the high performance one. It's got 410 kilowatts when it's in super turbo boosty mode, which I will test later, stay tuned. Supposedly, it's got 580 Newton meters of torque as well, which means that if you have got the family dog in the back, at 0 to 100, 3.9 seconds, it will turn Fido into a pancake shape on the back window. Gotta get used to using those side view cameras that they've replaced the mirrors with cameras, and they're good. In fact, these are much better than the previous versions I've played with, but they are still a bit weird. You still have to adjust. It's got none of that like parallax effect where you can move your head to change the angle of attack, what you're looking at. This obviously doesn't do anything if you move your head, you just look like a caffeinated budgie. As for battery size, well, wait till you hear this. It has a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack strapped to the underside. This station wagon weighs 2.4 tons, which is all the more impressive that it can do 0 to 100 supposedly in 3.9 seconds. But the benefit of that is we crawl around in Auckland traffic, is that it is just a cocoon. It is so comfortable. That's the thing about Audis with the adaptive suspension, is that right now I've got it in comfort mode. The suspension has softened, and with the noise insulation and that battery pack between the road and the cabin, it's just so quiet. It's such a pleasant place to be. It's like, remember waterbeds? Well, this is a waterbed with cup holders. It just glides over that speed bump. But then if I chuck it into dynamic mode, ooh, not only does the car sound angry, but the suspension lowers and toughens up, and it becomes like 2 cars in one. Not literally, but these Audis, they are 2 cars in one. They are a marvel of engineering. Bit of police excitement up in front of me. All right, now I'm going to try that later, so I'm going to put it back into comfort mode, let the car turn into a waterbed again, let it cocoon me like Wilfred Brimley in that classic 80s film. I can't believe they've got 100 kilowatts of battery capacity into this car, and it doesn't look weird. Because remember EVs from like 15 years ago, they all looked a bit odd, and I know because I used to own one. They've finally come to a point now where they look normal. They look great, and they've got the same range as a petrol car, more than 600 k's on a charge. I mean, why would you buy combustion in 2025? It doesn't make any sense. Plus, this thing, you can charge at home off a regular household outlet, and it costs just a few bucks, about the same as a Macca's combo, for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of motoring. Like, you can't get that with combustion. And if you've got solar panels, you can go even further. You can charge these cars for free. Like, you can't make your own petrol. You can't make your own diesel. But I make my own petrol equivalent on my roof using solar panels. Plus, on the times I'm not using solar panels, like when the sun's down, I'm using Ecotricity electricity, which is New Zealand's only certified climate positive electricity provider. Ecotricity.co.nz. Plus, it's really affordable because it's only from wind, hydro, solar. No dirty, expensive gases and coals that have got to be imported. Only the clean stuff, only the green stuff, only the affordable stuff. Sign up now. Let's talk about the car now, starting with design. And if you were blessed with the gift of sight, you can't help but notice that this is a good-looking car. It is a very stylish, sleek-looking car. In fact, let's talk design. It is one of the slipperiest cars that Audi has ever made, and it just happens to be a station wagon. This thing has such a low drag coefficient, that's how it gets its long range. If you were blessed with the gift of sight, you can't help but notice that this is a good looking car. It's honestly such a refreshing change to see a good looking electric station wagon, because everywhere you look right now, it's crossovers, crossovers, crossovers. They sell, they're popular. But you can't deny a good looking station wagon is a crowd pleaser. Right now, crossovers, well, they're ubiquitous. They're like Toyota Aquas. Everywhere you look, Aqua, 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 Aqua. It's like turning on the radio in 1997. Danger ahead. What? There's no danger. There's just me blabbing on about a 90s band. Okay, so obviously this is a little confused, this car, because it's been ripped from its homeland. It was only driving on the streets of Germany a few weeks ago, and now suddenly it's like, what am I doing? Why is this thing? Everyone's on the wrong side, yeah? But right now, it is confused. It's got me some errors. It doesn't know when I select the maps. It doesn't know where I am. It keeps trying to find Auckland in Italy. So yeah, I'm going to give it a break with the error messages. It's doing well considering. Thing is though, if you want an electric station wagon, you've only got limited options. You've got the Porsche Taycan 4S Cross Turismo, which I reviewed, and that's an amazing vehicle, but it is, well, it's a bit of a sleek hearse. Sorry to upset the Porsche guys there. And it's not really a very affordable car. Not saying this is either. On the other end of the scale, you've got the Skoda Enyaq, which is an accomplished electric station wagon. I reviewed that, but that's currently awaiting new arrivals. That's out of stock right now. And of course, it is more like just an elongated crossover than it is a full-on station wagon. This is a proper station wagon. Like when I picked it up, it was parked next to two Seat station wagons, normal size station wagons. But look at how big it is compared to those. This is an electric beast. It's also not by chance either. You look at the side profile, you notice how it's about 2/3 body to 1/3 glass, and that's intentional. That design is to convey the look that it's sleek. It's to bring that roofline sort of sloping down, or at least create the impression the roofline slopes down, when in actual fact, it's pretty cavernous in there. It also looks kind of aggressive. It's got those cool daytime running lights and those very slimline headlights, slimmest headlights that they've put on any Audi in history, which means with those 21-inch wheels, it looks kind of aggressive, kind of staunch, but again, you wouldn't know that driving it right now. From the outside, it looks like it would not be out of place flying down the German Autobahn at its top speed of 240 kilometers per hour. Oh, it's a little weird going through a roundabout on the wrong side of the car, but we're doing all right. I'm getting much more comfortable than I was picking it up an hour ago. It does make me wonder how this thing would do on a racetrack, because I think it would fare quite well. Maybe not as good as a rental car. We all know that rental cars, they are the only vehicles which can do absolutely everything. We just don't tell the agent when we drop the keys off. I mentioned it's one of the slipperiest cars Audi's made, and one of the ways they do that is by having recessed door handles, kind of old school, right? But they've also gotten rid of the door mirrors on the side, so they've replaced it with these virtual mirrors. These are cameras and displays. Now, I don't know how much of a problem that solves. I would still probably take the range hit and have normal mirrors instead, but they do look pretty cool, and they are, wow, the definition is pretty incredible. I expect the New Zealand model's going to have those, but again, things may change. So take every stat and statistic in this video with just a little pinch of sodium chloride. As for the interior design, well, it is classic Audi. Well, actually, no, it's modern Audi, because classic Audis never used to have this curvaceous display here in front of me. This is a whole new thing. Audi's sort of reinventing themselves for the youth market, which in Audi language means those under 70. Actually, speaking of being under 70, let's move on to comfort. First of all, ingress, egress. How easy is it to get out of this car? And I measured the seats at 60 centimeters off the ground. It's one of those few Audis you can climb in and out of at my age without making Audi noises. Moving into interior design, and it is both old Audi and new Audi. It's old in that it's got its classic Audi angular, angry design angles and cues, and it's got different textiles and all that. But it's also new Audi in that it's got away with the multi-screens, and it's got one large curved screen which follows your hand, the length of your hand, the distance, as your hand moves around, so you don't have to lean forward to get to the far end of the menu. It's just a little bit of smart. As for room from a driver's perspective, well, there's heaps. If I put my seat all the way back, I can barely touch the pedals. I'm 5'10" and I've got heaps of room above my head. I am 0.09 Mick Fleetwoods from Fleetwood Mac. I had no idea the guy was so tall, but if you're watching this, you'll fit in this car a-okay. The back seats are a similar story. Mr. Fleetwood, you will fit in there, no worries. Heaps of legroom, a staggering amount of headroom as well. Plus you've got vents back there, you've got some USB charging as well, and you've got a relatively flat floor. I mean, it's not perfectly flat, but it is almost flat. It's just got a little bump in the middle, as some of us all do. Moving further back into the boot, Well, look how cavernous it is back there. Man, this is what I'm talking about. This is a station wagon. It's huge, there's heaps of room, plus doing the Mafia test, passed with flying colours. You could fit 2 or 3 Gavins in the back of that, which I admit is a very frightening prospect. But wait, there's more. If you want more space, you can drop those back seats down just by pulling a little lever on each side. It's effortless, it's instant, plus you can lie all the way down there fully. All the way down and still have room for a pillow or something. So yeah, you could take this vehicle camping. Plus, you may be wondering, what do you do with that parcel shelf? Well, it does actually fit in the underside, on the underside of the boot floor. There's a little bit of extra storage under there. That's smart. Thank you, Audi. But what if you want more, you might be asking? Well, if you move up to the front of the car and pop the bonnet, you will find a 25-litre fartment or front compartment, which is not huge. It's not enough to store a lot of stuff beyond charging cables and not quite big enough for my monumental self-loathing. But let's now move on to gadgets, and I love this segment, and this being a new Audi is loaded with tech. A lot of it playful as well, very un-German. We start with this massive curved display in front of me. This side is touchscreen, this side in front of me, that is the instrument cluster. One little complaint I have about the design is that if you lower the steering wheel to its lowest setting and you're a tall person, you will find yourself obscuring a little bit of the top of the steering wheel. That I'm not a fan of, but there's not really much you can do. You can't exactly lower the display anymore, so you just have to tolerate it or slouch into your seat. Not kidding when I say this is a playful German car. You can load apps onto this car, and it's got racing games and driving games and all kinds of playful stuff, including a display on the passenger side. Well, yeah, passenger side is technically driver's side, passenger side. It's the passenger side, and you can even play games on that. And it doesn't really even distract the driver. It's so far away and at such an angle that you don't really see it from here. It's all really well thought out. Now, some of the apps I saw on the Audi Q6 I reviewed were things like Spotify, not that surprising, but you can also install karaoke apps, and it's got racing games, and it's even got Microsoft Teams. Yeah, why you would have that on your car, I don't know. I guess that explains the German sense of humor. Yeah, let's log into work on my Sunday. Come on, kids, let's all log in and get on a group chat, yeah? It also comes with fruit and robot connectivity, both wireless as well. Works a treat on this nice big 14.5-inch display. But right now in Auckland Central, this thing's a piece of cake. Got flappy paddles on the steering wheel here, which control the regen braking. I can turn it up to maximum, which slows the car right down. I can go one step further. I can drop it into B mode, and now I've got one pedal driving. Oh, regen is super strong. One pedal driving. You never have to touch the brake. It's fantastic. We are getting on the motorway, and this is a good chance for me to see how comfortable this thing is with its massive long wheelbase. So far it's pretty good, but I'm going to change the drive mode into efficiency, and I'm going to put quite a few 100Ks on the clock to see just how efficient it is. Normally at this point I'd like to play around with the lane keeping assist and the adaptive cruise control, you know, level 2 autonomous driving, but it is disengaged in this car for very obvious reasons. We're on the wrong side of the road, although the heads-up display does provide some really great information. Not only your map info, your speed and all that, but if a vehicle pulls in front of you, for example, it will show red arrows on the screen in front, just to warn you to pull back. I could see myself doing road trips in this car. It's just such a cruiser. It's everything the combustion version did, but better. I'm struggling to find fault with it, but let me put a few 100Ks on it. I'm sure I'll find things I hate about it, and I will put them in the Spud score coming up very soon. Right now though, let's just crack into it, get some Ks under its belt, and see how loud it is when we get to coarse chip roads at 100 Ks an hour. And this is it. This is New Zealand's famous coarse chip roads in the Audi S6 Avant, and it is loud. I'm not going to lie. It's louder than I thought it was going to be. Now we're on a smoother section. German cars typically, they're not designed for our terrible, rough, abrasive, coarse chip roads. They ruin potatoes, they make road noise unbearable, and this car is louder than I expected. That being said, it's just such a comfortable place to be. I'm in efficiency mode right now. The range is just not dropping. I thought I was going to drop the range enough to do a charging test today. I just can't get the thing to drop in range. I've still got 227 Ks left, and I picked it up with 65% charge. Despite that though, when you're not on a coarse chip road, like right now I'm on the Waikato Expressway doing 109 Ks an hour, and it's perfectly comfortable. You can easily have a conversation at this speed, and the ride is so sublime. It's gliding along, plus it's obvious that, oh, here comes some coarse chip road. Yeah, big difference, eh? What's interesting though is that the user interface and the hardware has obviously been upgraded. It's now showing me information about all the vehicles around. It even picks up whether or not they've got their brake lights on, up in lanes up ahead in the other lane. It's really smart software, it's really smart hardware, and it just keeps me safe. But as I am out here in the countryside, I would like to see what that 0 to 100 acceleration is like, and my top secret driving road is just a few Ks away, and this is it. I found an empty slice of road, got it all to myself, 100K an hour zone. Let's do the 0 to 100 time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Get comfortable, folks. And we're ready. In 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, far out. Oh, yahoo. Oh, crikey. Oh, mate. Whew, it's like lying down on Jupiter, man. Like the gravity pushes you into your seat. Like this from a sensible family station wagon. It's mad. Well, it's not sensible, is it? And we're going to find out because my top secret driving road is just around the corner. Let's go see how this thing handles the corners. And welcome to my top secret driving road. Now, legally, I can't tell you where this is. Okay, I made that up. I just don't want to tell you where it is because I'm selfish and I want this road all to myself every weekend. Basically, this is a great collection of corners and twists on relatively smooth tarmac. You sort of use this as a benchmark for all the cars I drive. Honestly, this thing feels fantastic. It's so secure, if that makes any sense at all. Like some cars, big station wagons, heavier cars, it feels like when you want to go into a corner, you've got to submit a change.org petition to the vehicle's steering system and hope that you get 1,000 signatures. This, it feels binary. It's so connected all the time. And one thing I noticed immediately, when you go around a corner, not a single milligram of body roll. How have they done that? This is a 2.4 ton car, and it just tightens up. That active damping on the suspension completely tightens up when you go around a corner. And oh, wow. It's like when you meet someone who's like a black belt in martial arts. They're always the most polite, well-mannered people. Well, excluding Steven Seagal, of course. But then when you put them into a fighting stance, far out, it's like, wow, you got all of that fighting out of this person? But they seem so polite. And this is the same thing. This is the most polite martial arts expert on wheels I've ever met. If you get the chance, drive one of these things. Who would have thought a station wagon this much fun? Because I'm a sedan guy. Station wagons have always been, well, kind of sensible family cars. Because they have been, until this came along. It's freaking brilliant. Okay, enough hooning about. We have much more to cover yet. We've got things like efficiency. We've got things like charging speed. We need to know what the potato storage capacity is and all the things I learned to hate about this car over the next few days. So, without further delay, let's crack into the Spud score. Starting with performance, and it gets 8 out of 10 Spuds for very obvious reasons. It is quick. Handling's next, and I'm giving it an excellent 8 out of 10. That adaptive suspension is something else. Like when it's in sports mode, it completely deletes any body roll, and it hugs those corners so tightly you'd think it's trying to win a custody battle. It is pure Audi all the way. As for comfort, when you slide it into sponge cake mode, it becomes like nothing else. Those 2.4 tons give the feel as if you're driving a cloud, isolated from the harshness of the world. It doesn't so much absorb the bumps as it does just completely ignore them. It's also more than roomy enough for those, well, blessed with a bit of a belly. How about efficiency, you ask, on this, the slipperiest Audi they've ever produced? Well, my economy on open road and highway driving came to an average of around 18 kilowatt hours per 100k, which doesn't sound that amazing until you remember the size and the weight of this car. That is a pretty efficient figure for open road driving in Kiwi conditions. It means realistically, on a full charge on the highways, you'll likely get around 527 k's on a charge in the real world, or more in the city, and that is pretty good. Gadgetry is next, and it's got just about everything you could want, except vehicle to load, and there's no word on whether that will ever be an option. It's a shame because that battery alone could almost power a small village, so I'm going to take a potato off the score for that. Despite that shortcoming, it's a very playful German car, which, yeah, it sounds like an oxymoron, and the Kiwi versions will have all the games and apps and functionality of the Q6. It also has those display mirrors, which, well, they don't really solve any big problems, and they do create some others, so I'm going to knock a Spud off for that as well. But it does come with seated heats and even ventilated seats in this S6 model, and the sound coming out of that Bang & Olufsen sound system is so crisp it's like your mum ironed it. Now, some things didn't work on this German example, like the built-in maps, and some features from the ADAS, such as street sign recognition, that didn't work either, but that's mostly because, well, this car was happily roaming the streets of Germany a few weeks ago, before it was blindfolded and sent down under, so it's likely a bit confused right now. I'm not going to give it a hard time for that. 7 out of 10 potatoes. But is it good value? Well, no, not really. I mean, it's painfully expensive, but good lord, you will feel great driving it. Anything I threw at it, the car just kept begging for more, and until now, the market had been missing a big, long-range, stylish, high-performance electric estate car. The only problem is that this solution is not really a cheap one, so 3 Spuds there. As for charging speed, it seems excellent, or at least it does on paper, so I plugged it into one of ChargeNet's growing number of hyper-rapid chargers, which are capable of delivering up to 300 kilowatts each, and if you're upgrading to an electric car, make sure you sign up to ChargeNet, as they are the country's biggest charging charging provider, making long-distance electric road trips super easy. Now, the car claims a maximum DC charging speed of 270 kilowatts, and I plugged in at 17%. Immediately, the car started charging quickly. However, I got to the chargers at a busy moment and parked next to another e-tron. This means we shared that charger's 300 kilowatts, getting around 150 kilowatts each. Long story short, it took just 25 minutes to reach 80%, and that is enough for another 400 odd Ks of driving. Not bad considering my power delivery was limited by another Audi rapid charging, but I know it can do better. So I drove around for a few days to get the charge level down, then I tried it once again. Yep, that is more like it. I'm giving this car 9 spuds for some pretty rapid charging. Nice one, Audi. But what about style? Well, obviously it is subjective, and I'm traditionally a sedan guy, but this does rustle my jimmies. Its proportions give it a really solid appearance. It's even got cool lighting at night, plus that interior would make Knight Rider want to drop kit off at a wrecker's yard. 8 out of 10 spuds. But is it fit for purpose? Well, pretty much, yeah. It's big inside and out. The storage is immense. It's got a 40-20-40 split rear seat, and this thing is quicker than most cars on the road, and yet it looks normal. Plus, it'll tow up to 2.1 tons of brake load. It really is the right car at the right time, with Audi somehow beating the Chinese car makers to the performance estate market here, so I'm going to give it a very well-earned 9 spuds out of 10. But it's the PSC which will influence your purchasing decision, and intense testing has revealed an unexpectedly high PSC of 78 potatoes. That is a surprising 65.9% increase over the Audi Q6 e-tron, which has a near-identical dashboard. It's a testament to German engineering and potato sciences. Which gives the Audi S6 Avant e-tron a total spud score of 75, and that is pretty high. And there you have it. That is the guts of this, the Audi S6 Avant e-tron. It is a very stylish, very high performance, capable long-range electric car. It does everything you need, and it's a station wagon. The only problem is, yeah, sure, as much as this fills a gap in the market, I don't know how well this slice of German precision is going to sell, because, let's face it, German precision ain't cheap.